Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to talk to you a little bit about RC helicopter, main boards, controller boards, call it an ESC. I'm not sure what the actual technical term is for these things yet, but I'm getting there. Anyway, this one here is actually out of an Audley branded radio control helicopter. It's their Explorer helicopter. It's actually their largest one that they make, and they're actually not a bad little heli. But I've got two of these boards that I managed to salvage out of the three helicopters that are still perfectly working order. But I also use the batteries out of them for my 052 Interceptor helicopter. What I want to talk to you about is when it comes to polarity of these light strips. Now, if you're going to get broken helicopters, pick them up to harvest these light strips, one thing you need to check first is the proper polarity. Now, why we're talking about that is because things are not always what they seem. Looking at this board, just and a quick glance at the back end of the connections, everything seems to look like positives, positives, and negative is negative. And but it's not. They've actually reversed things in this case, and I don't know why they want to screw us up like this, but they did. Anyway, you've got a lot of connectors here. You've got your motor connectors. You've got your tail connector. You've got light accessory connectors. So anyway, this particular helicopter came with a rocket underneath that lights up. It's really cool. And this chaser strip for the tail boom. And I actually have some plans for these chaser light strips. And but I also wanted to stick one on a helicopter. And I'm down to one left now because I had assumed that, positive is positive, negative is negative, and it should be red is red, black is black. So anyway, in that I torched two of these connectors, two rockets, and then I quit. And I thought, you know what? There's something fishy here. I'm gonna find out what. So I snipped the connector off of this one, put the connector back in the board, and did a polarity check. And that's when I found out that they reversed them, and that positive is now negative and negative is now positive. Because I even tried with a 1.5 volt battery, thinking, well, maybe I'm throwing too much juice in it because through the board here, they got a lot of stuff to feed, like your engines and everything else, and you've only got a 3.7 volt lipo cell here. Mind you, you do have 1,000 milliamps, so you should be able to feed everything. And so anyway, turns out, yep, we got 3.7 coming out of these little connectors, but the polarities were backwards. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to check out the 052 Interceptor light, because it's only the one light, and its polarity is positive and negative, and when I plug it into this board, it's actually flipped the other way. With the wires, the plug's the same plug, but the wires, instead of the one being on this side and one on that side, is opposite something. I can't plug that in because I'm going to fry that. So on the Interceptor, they followed protocol through the whole board, the circuitry and everything, where positives positive, negatives negative. So just to show you that, I want you to look at these wires. Okay, here we've got our positive lead, here we've got our negative lead. Okay, and we've got a 3.7 volt battery here, and we're going to connect the negative to the positive, and we're going to connect the positive to the negative. There we go. So as you can see, positive to negative, negative to positive, and it lights up and it does its chaser thing. I thought this was actually a built-in circuit for the chasing on the board, and turns out it's actually right into the strip, which is actually really slick because that's what I was hoping for. So why would they reverse it? No idea. Probably just to screw us up. So the thing here now is when you do order parts such as these, because I'm going to have to order some strips for my project. I'm going to save this one for my heli that it's going to go on. But now when you order these strips, you're going to get positive and negative the same. What you're going to want to do is test those polarities out before you hook them into your boards for your helicopters or whatever toys you're going to plug these things into. And if you're even doing a straight wire thing, you know, like straight on, like what I'm going to do with my project, these are just going to be straight lights only, no circuits in there or anything other than an on and off switch. What you're going to want to verify is positive positive, is negative negative. So when you order them, make sure you know what the voltage is that they run on for you know 3.7 or you know 7.2 volts, whatever. But get one extra and use that as your guinea pig to find out if that company that you ordered from followed protocol where positive is positive and negative is negative. Because otherwise, you could torch a lot of these things like I ended up doing before I threw it on the multimeter on the board with the connector. And also, like I said, the interceptor is wired properly. Positive is positive and negative is negative. So why Audley decided to do this, I have no idea. Like cars way back in the day, like we used to have a 66 Austin Healey, and its grounding system was actually positive, and then you had your live as your negative. Well, negative is your live anyway to begin with in any circuit where it's polarized, positive and negative. But cars nowadays are all built negative is your ground and positive mean your live, you know. And so why Audley did this, we don't know, but it is kind of interesting, and I'm actually glad I found out before I torched my last one, because I needed at least one of these for my heli, you know, out of the three. And you know, I've been into electronics for a long time, and when you look at the back of this board and it looks correct but it really isn't, I have no idea how they did this. It is interesting, that's for sure. But stuff happens, right? So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. And if you're, you know, about to do some modding with lights and stuff, cut the connector off, plug it into the board, put power to the board, and then check and make sure that positive is positive and negative is negative before you attach these lights, you know. And then verify your light strips too that you're using to make sure that, you know, they're either wired for positive positive, negative negative, or if they've actually flipped them and still color coded them positive negative, which is absolutely stupid to even flip the stupid light, you know. But they did it, and we don't know why, but it does work. And so if you are stripping down Audley RCs, your likelihood is this is going to be your negative and your black is going to be your positive. And it's real easy to find that out without even torching this. So if you go by the assume rule, you'll end up having the same problem. So try not to assume. And you know, watching this video should help you save frying these things. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.